like to tell him what it looked like. It's like when light refracts off of a icicle, and for that brief second you see all the colors in the rainbow, but it was alive. It was so beautiful. And as they came up, I heard there were prayers that I learned on. And prayer is the most beautiful thing we have. And it was so loving and so kind. And it was not for themselves. They were asking for me. Just like when you do something kind for someone else. That is the purest form of love. Hospital, and that was at a time where they didn't prepare little children for being, the parents couldn't stay with them after surgery. So I remember they prepared me. My mom and dad were there. I felt really good. And I kept going down, you know, when they came time to get me. I loved the light as it was coming down from the ceiling because it was different than the lights I'd ever seen. And I went in, had the surgery, got out, and I didn't know what had happened. They didn't tell me what they were going to do. My eyes were bandaged. I couldn't see. I was really sick. And I tried to tear the bandages off. But my parents were there at that time and helped me. I was fine. I started feeling better. And they said, oh, we got you a present. And you can, well, you'll have to wait till in the morning to open it up because, you know, you can't, that's when they take the patches off. So it got to be like 8 o'clock and I hear ding, 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 and they say, visiting hours are now over. And so I thought, oh no. I didn't know what that meant, but they came in and said, you have to go home now. So they left me at the hospital by myself. And there was not another child in the room with me. And by that time, the smell were really, the anesthesia was wearing off and I could smell that hospital-y smell. And my hearing was very acute. And I could hear people walking down the hallways with gum soles, you know, that beep, as they go down the hall. And then somebody dropped like something like a bedpan or something. I heard this loud crash. And I was so scared, I popped out of my body. And by my bedside was somebody I knew, Jimmy, who was in my class. And Jimmy looked at me and said, can you walk me home? And I said, yeah. So this door opened up, and Jimmy and I were holding hands, walking to the light. And as we got almost about halfway through this light, he started seeing his relatives coming for him. And they were waving to him. And so he dropped my hand and started going to him. And then in an instant, I knew, oh, I have to go back to that hospital. I have to go back there. And boom, I was back in my body, back at the hospital. See at the bottom, and I designed that typeface, so it's all done by hand. It's not, they didn't have, you know, computers. So the symbol for God is, see the G, and then the circle's the O, and then the D. I just found out about this last Christmas when my daughter came and she was taking all of her childhood memories and stuff out, and she had closets pulled out. And they came up with my portfolio from when I worked at the publishing company. So I've been getting insights all my life. In 1988, my brother Bobby died. And after his death, I kept seeing these flashbacks. Blonde hair floating on water, blonde hair floating on water. This is after the publishing house. He died in '88. So decided it was time to find out what that blonde head floating in the water is all about. So I had a dear friend, and I said, you know, I need to find out what this is. It's going to take 2 hours. I need it in a very safe place. And so I went to his office, and he got me very relaxed. He said, just close your eyes and start going back and stop at a place you want to look at. And there's like a lot of doors. He said, pick a number. Each door is a year one. Well, I didn't know whether to pick 4 or 5. I said, 4. Because this happened when I was 4 and a half. I mean, little kids, a half birthday is big, because you're almost 5. And I like birthdays, candles, presents, what's not to like? So I relived everything I told you at that time, you know, the whole thing. And then I decided, I want to know, is this really real? Is this real? So I went down and talked to my mother. And I told her about my childhood and near-death experience. And I got the confirmation I needed. My mother was in her 80s at the time. And she said, you know that day, Linda, when we were at that picnic at the creek, 2 children almost drowned. And the church decided never to have another picnic there. And then my mother got very quiet. And she said, you know, Linda, your dad and I think an angel pulled you out of the water. Because when we went to thank him, nobody knew who he was or where he went. He was just gone. So that was about the best confirmation I could have that this happened. I'm always questioning. As I've gotten older, I've integrated this experience into my life. And I've gone and talked to a lot of people about the near-death experience. And I know that this is my mission here in life, is to help let people, to share my experience and the hope that they are not afraid of dying.